What's up everyone, John Renger from Techno Buffalo here. Microsoft's Xbox event just wrapped up and they went through a ton of stuff in just about a 55-minute time frame. So if you missed the announcement, I'm going to take you through step by step of everything that got announced, some things that didn't get announced there but came out afterwards, and all kinds of Xbox goodness. Stick around, let's go through it together. So let's start at the beginning. Microsoft's own Don Mattrick took the stage and he said, and I quote, "We spent the past 4 years working on this." So that was kind of cool. They gave a brief Xbox history and they finally said the name of the next generation console. It's not the Xbox 720, Xbox Fusion. The official name is the Xbox One. Poor HTC. And they called it the Xbox One because it's an all-in-one entertainment system. And we'll get talked about that more as we go along, but it does a lot of things in one console, hence the name Xbox One. So they talked about a new controller, and Kinect was also announced. We'll talk about that a little bit later. A ton of new stuff with Kinect. Really heavy emphasis on TV. There's a totally new TV experience, and you can access that TV experience using some pretty baller voice commands that worked really well. You know, TV on, switch to music, and all kinds of other stuff. It uses your voice just incredibly well, and voice commands allow you to instantly switch between games, TV, music, movies, full Internet Explorer, and other apps. So that was kind of cool. They announced something called Snap Mode. You can snap back and forth different things. Allows you to view two things at once, like watching a movie and doing a quick web search. Kind of neat. Also, one thing that I was really excited about is Skype for Xbox, totally built in. So you can Skype your friends while you're playing a game. You could talk some trash, or you can just use it for Skype on your TV. A lot of ESPN-centric stuff was also announced. You're going to get notifications of your favorite players and teams, so that's kind of cool if you're big into sports. You can also snap various stats next to live supported games, so kind of cool too. Next thing, Xbox One Guide. It's a full TV guide of what it's going to do, and they didn't announce this at the keynote, they announced it afterwards. Essentially going to work on top of your cable box's DVR, so it'll access all the content, but it'll put the Xbox UI on top of it. Kind of neat. You get trending and favorite options there. But the big deal here, the system specs. What is the Xbox One going to pack? So 8 gigabytes of RAM, USB 3.0, a Blu-ray drive, which Sony's the head of that Blu-ray consortium. Kind of cool to see a Blu-ray drive in there, so bigger games, more storage. Of course, HDMI in or out. 8-core GPU, 500 gigabyte hard drive. I don't know if that's solid state or not. There are 3 separate operating systems, which are kind of cool. First, there's the Xbox OS. There's a full Windows kernel, and finally there's an OS that allows you to switch between the other two instantly. So that's kind of cool. So with the Windows kernel, hopefully there'll be some cross-compatibility between Windows games and Xbox games. So let's talk about Kinect. First of all, good news, it's going to be included with every console. It's now a 1080p HD camera. Voice commands are now totally more conversational with it. It can read your heartbeat also, which is crazy. Can just sense separate movements, movement of the wrists, and just more details. So it could give a much better Kinect experience. Onto the controller, it looks the same, but underneath that shell, there are 40 design changes. Dynamic impulse triggers let you put feedback on the triggers, which are kind of cool. It's got Wi-Fi direct radio stack in there. It's got all kinds of cool precision directional pad stuff built into it. Integrated battery. Of course, obviously more support for all the smart glass stuff that Microsoft announced, I guess last year's E3. So natively part of the platform, there's all kinds of other stuff that's natively in there. So Xbox Live, so that's kind of cool. And for the servers to support that, they're going from 15,000 servers to 300,000 servers, which is crazy. I love storage for music, movies, games, and all of it's going to save in the cloud. Kind of cool. Speaking of cloud, there's a dedicated game DVR built in, which will save games to the cloud. It's better for, queuing up multiplayer games as well. They're told to talk a lot about games, EA, FIFA, Madden, NFL, NBA Live, UFC. EA came and talked about a lot of it. All of those are going to be powered by EA's new sports engine called Ignite, so that's kind of cool. They talked about the gaming engine, sort of 10 times more animation depth of detail. They showed 3D crowds, dynamic sidelines, and daily streams of new content, so kind of cool. Then Microsoft Studios came up, talked about all the rest of their games, so Forza Motorsports 5 will be available at launch. That was kind of cool. And they showed a new game called Quantum Break, which looked pretty awesome. The 15 exclusive titles in the first year. 8 will be totally new franchises. There's going to be a Halo TV series, which Steven Spielberg is going to be involved in, so that's kind of cool. A lot of NFL stuff, so I'm appropriately dressed here for it. Essentially, it'll integrate with NFL-supported games. It'll pull up fantasy stats and all kinds of other cool stuff there as well. So if you're a big fantasy sports buff like me, you're going to like it. So the Xbox One is going to launch. We don't know the date, but sometime later this year, presumably by the holidays. We'll get much more info at E3. And then Activision came up and talked about the next Call of Duty. Call of Duty Ghosts. It's going to be built on a whole new engine. There's new dog companions, dynamic maps, character customizations, downloadable content. It's going to be coming to Xbox One first, and sort of a lot of other cool stuff that came out of it. So let's talk a little bit more about the games and what sort of came out of that. So I give Activision credit. They demoed games, they said, on a totally Xbox One console. It wasn't generated on a PC and simulated. It was actually running on reference hardware. A lot of stuff came out though after the keynote that really didn't get announced. So used games. Games are tied to a console, so essentially when you put your disc in, it's going to install the game on your hard drive, and if you want to give that disc to a friend or sell it, for example, they are going to have to pay a fee in order to use that game. You don't know what the fee is, how that's going to work if you're not connected to the internet, but kind of interesting. Speaking of internet, we also don't know if it requires always on stuff, so that's another big question mark. We don't know the price, which is a big question mark as well. We also don't know backwards compatibility, but hopefully we will know all of that come E3, which is now just a few short weeks away. So we got a ton of news on the Xbox One. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, what you think about it, if you're excited, not excited. They announced crazy amount of stuff in a 15-minute period, so I give Microsoft credit. They've had years to work on this. The console looks super big, but hopefully that bigness will keep the cost down. They didn't have to pay that much to shrink the components, but it's definitely a large console. But take that for what it's worth. It doesn't look bad, but it certainly is going to take up a lot of space in your component cabinet. Anyway, guys, I'm excited about it. It looks very cool. I can't wait to get our hands on it, take a look at some gameplay, of course, at E3. We will be there covering it in force. Again, want to hear your thoughts? Please give this video a big fatty thumbs up. We most definitely appreciate it. I am John Rettinger from Techno Buffalo. See you guys next video.